with them, they record that attack. We are told that today the terror attack which took place, there is possibility that a group of 2 to 3 terrorists, they were involved in this terror attack. Whether this is the same terror group which carried out the attack in 2021, wherein we lost 9 soldiers, it is yet to be ascertained, because since then the operation in the area to flush out those terrorists is still on. And if you also remember, Zaka, just at the beginning of this year, there was a terror attack in the Dangri village of Rajouri district, and that place is not also too far away from this area, and those terrorists who were involved in the Dangri terror attack, they are also still at large. They haven't either been nabbed or neutralized. So the operation to neutralize those terrorists involved in the Dangri terror incident, they are still, the operation is still on. And as Arunima, my colleague who covers Ministry of Home Affairs, rightly reported that there have been inputs with the security agencies that terrorists are planning to carry out a major terror strike in Jammu region post the Dangri terror incident. There are inputs that a similar kind of terror attack could be carried out in Jammu region, and that too days before the crucial G20 meeting that is going to take place in Kashmir. You see, just a couple of days ago, Pakistan had expressed its resentment over India holding a G20 meeting in Kashmir, and today this attack came on the day when Pakistan Foreign Minister made a statement that Bilawal Bhutto, the Pakistan Foreign Minister, would be coming to India to attend the SCO meeting to be held in Goa. Yes, Zaka.
Okay, so let me ask Arunima this. What are your top Home Ministry sources telling you? Are they worried that this may be linked to the upcoming G20 meeting? Was that the target, if you will, in as much as to try and send out a chilling effect? And more importantly, what do we know about this terror outfit, PFF? Is it just Lashkar by another name?
Officials both in North and South Block, as well as those who are there in Jammu and Kashmir. And 2-3 things. One, that the sequence of events seems to be that there was firing at least from 3 sides. The first bullet perhaps came from the driver's side, then from the conductor side, and frontal as well. So when this kind of firing happens, the assessment in the security grid seems to be that at least 3, if not more, terrorists were involved. If that kind of group we are looking at, between 3 to 5 is what they are speculating at the moment. We're just all praying that the sole eyewitness, the survivor who's critically injured, can be in a position to give a statement. He survives this attack, and then there'll be more clarity. But at least 3 could be more, terrorists were involved in this. That's number one. Number two, what they're saying is that, there are a number of natural caves in this particular area that's very close to the line of control. So when we asked them that was there any kind of local support, how did these terrorists know that an army vehicle was to move in this particular area? What we are being told by officials is that this terrain is such that only army vehicles move. So if you have managed to cross the line of control and you're waiting there with an ambush, 9 out of 10 times you would only come across a military vehicle. So the terrorists got lucky this time around. They targeted this military vehicle. There was a road opening party, that's what we are told, but that was the solitary vehicle there. Right now what's happening is that there are attempts on to get the best medical aid for the sole survivor.
Okay.
2, there is a search operation that is going on where the police, the paramilitary, the military, they're all involved. Intelligence officials are also carrying out meetings on their part to figure out, what really went on. PAFF is a front which, like October 2021 attack, which Jinder has already told you, but their name started cropping up only post-2020 when the FATF scrutiny began. So their cadre, we are told, is mixed. If you see the Ministry of Home Affairs notification when PFF was banned, they called it a Jaish front, but if you speak to officials on the ground, they'll tell you it is both Lashkar and Jaish cadre mixed, and the imprint of the way this organization works makes it look like more Lashkar, and this is the area of dominance, this area of Rajouri, Poonch, Bhimber Gali.
Akash, very quickly, one of the things that stands out in this attack is that this truck was traveling alone. Particularly after Pulwama in 2019, I believe SOPs had been revised. It was said that no truck will travel alone. What are MOD sources, what are Army sources telling you as to why this truck was traveling alone?
Right. So Arunima has mentioned it several times. It was a short movement, Zaka, and in fact, this truck was on administrative duty. So normally we see such movements, but I'll mention this very fact that we have one of our Jawan who is critically injured, and he is the only survivor in this particular attack. Yes, he is critically injured, but officers are saying that the whole focus is on his safety as of now, because he is the only one who can narrate the whole story. Yes, speculations are on. In fact, investigation has started. We are learning that such operation has started. In fact, they are looking for those terrorists, but the fact is that we have one Jawan who is critically injured, and only he is the one who can narrate the whole story. Yes, it was a short movement. Initially, it was like that. Army officers were suspecting that this was just a vehicle caught fire, and then we have our Jawan injured and all of the things. But then later they realized that this was a terrorist attack, and now they are confirming that we have lost 5 lives. Yes, such operation is on, and the latest development is that all the commander level officers are on ground. They are ascertaining the facts that are related to the particular incident. We'll get to know as to what is the truth in this whole story.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my colleagues, Tejinder, Arunima and Akash, for joining us. Let me now open this up to our guests, because a couple of things, like I said, are worrisome. One, this comes about a month or so before that big G20 meeting in Srinagar. So was this attempt by the terrorists to try and send out some kind of chilling effect ahead of that meeting? And secondly, we have to ask this question. I mean, there were certain protocols, SOPs that were revised and put in place after Pulwama. Were those followed? If they were not followed, why? Let me bring in our guests who are joining us. SP Vaid is former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, Lieutenant General retired KJ Singh, former GOC&C of the Western Command, Major General retired Sanjay Soy, defense expert, and retired Major General KK Sinha, defense analyst, all of whom have, by the way, served in Kashmir at different points of time in their career. But Vaid Saab, let me start with you first. Again, just paint this area for our viewers, because we know that a similar attack happened in October 2021, a similar modus operandi where terrorists lay an ambush from inside the forest, attack an army convoy or a paramilitary convoy, and then quickly once again disappear back into the forest in a way that it becomes very difficult for the security forces to trace them down. Are you seeing a similar playbook in today's attack as well?
Zaka, something almost similar, because see, if you recall, even that group was had infiltrated, done its job, and inflicted casualties. And after that, we couldn't lay hand on that group. And we suffered about 9 casualties, if I recall correctly. See, this area is thickly forested. You have terrain is very, very difficult. And today I'm speaking from Jammu. The weather is very, very bad today. It's all raining and cloudy, and is drizzling as well. And Poonch being hilly area must be even worse than what I see from here. So weather is very bad. Otherwise, this area, is a very apt place for an ambush like this. And initially, when truck caught fire, people thought it is something as like it's actually bijli gadak rahi hai. People thought probably bijli giri hai. And later on, it was realized that it was an ambush, because when grenade is lobbed, and if a splinter of the grenade hits the fuel tank, it catches fire.
Correct.
And that is what has happened, and bullet injuries also are there. And I think driver was hit, targeted first, and that is generally the well-planned ambush which is done. If you are able to neutralize the driver, the vehicle will lose its control, and the others will not be able to retaliate. So that is what has happened.
I believe, and Arunima was sort of reporting about this earlier as well, that the attack happened from 3 different sides, from the driver's side, from the front of the vehicle, and also from the back. So it clearly shows that this was an orchestrated attack involving more than 2 or 3 persons. Let me ask Lieutenant General KJ Singh, the critical thing that everyone is asking is this in any way timed to or related to the G20 meeting that's coming up in Srinagar next month? And if it is, then how should India respond?
Zaka, Jai Hind. It is definitely related to that. There was some kind of meeting also which had taken place we are told MHA had held a meeting and a warning was put out that there would be there is a possibility of such kind of incidents taking place. So definitely linked with the oncoming G20 meeting between 22nd and 24th May at Srinagar. Any mischievous element would like to derail such a meeting, which has a salutary effect of conveying normalcy in Valley. Now, how should we respond? This question is, first is immediate response is medical care of the sixth person who's injured. There is a search operation going on. There is combing going on. There would be intelligence operation going on to check out where these people are. So one thing is to comb that area firstly and localize those people and then deal with them. Now this is difficult because see, it has been said by DGP Vaid and others, 10 kilometers from LOC, heavily forested, cave area. This area is called Narkhas, Bhimber Gali. So hilly and raining,
All right.
bad visibility. All factors are against people who are operating there. But I wish them luck. They are resolute people. They have resilience. I hope because we have not been able to get hold of the group which operated in October 21 and also the group which operated in January this year, which carried out attack in Dangri village in Rajouri.
Yeah.
So we have to get hold of this group. And there is a canard being put out that this is a new group, PAFF. They have taken up these names, People's Anti-Fascist Front, like TRF had come up earlier.
Yeah, correct.
The Resistance Front, to fool the Financial Action Task Force. That's the basic motive of these groups. And Zaka, I'm sure government will be looking at many options. It will share these inputs with Pakistan, will tell them.
Yeah.
And it will also wait initially for cooperation from their side so that they help us in nabbing these people. But if we get definite inputs about a base which is close to LOC from where they are being launched, then don't get surprised if there is a localized action on that.
Okay, don't be surprised if there is localized action. But let me also get in, General Soy. One aspect is, and the Government of India has been stressing this since 5th of August 2019, since Article 370 was abrogated, the number of terrorist incidents has consistently come down in the Kashmir Valley. In fact, in 2018, the calendar year of 2018, just before Article 370 was abrogated, there were over 200 terrorist incidents. In that year, 2019, it came down to 135, then 140, 153, 151. And this year in 2023, so far, in the first 3 months, only 11 incidents have been reported so far. Is this attack, today's attack, also an attempt by the terrorists to blow holes in that narrative that normalcy is returning to Kashmir?
Yes, Zaka, absolutely right. Absolutely, you are bang on target because gradually, after Article 370 has been removed, the level of violence, the stone throwing is almost nil, and the number of terrorist incidents, loss of lives have reduced considerably. The number of tourists who are visiting the Kashmir is absolutely record numbers have gone. All the hotels are full, all the resorts are full. So normalcy is returning, which probably is not palatable to Pakistan, which is not palatable to the people who are against the peace or against the normalcy in the Kashmir. So this is, and now in the May, the G20 summit is there, which was again a major message to the world that we are normal, absolute things are normal, and which is a fact. So this incident, though will try to derail or maybe to try and set the narrative. However, I feel that this kind of thing, the sole incident or isolated incident cannot change the overall scenario, overall peace efforts by the government of India and the people of Kashmir, who are also now got used to the living a normal life. They start going to office, they start working, they're seeing the educational institute opening, the children studying, they're going to places all over India, and people from all over India and globe are visiting
Okay.
there. So they are also used to it. Probably that is not getting palatable to the Pakistan, which is very unfortunate,
So-
who themselves are facing the biggest problem, whether it is financial or a political crisis.
So let me ask
the Pakistan.
General Sinha, on the Pakistan question, we know two things. One, today the Pakistan government announced that their Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto will be traveling to India for the SCO Foreign Ministers meeting next month. Also, this PAFF or earlier TRF, are these just simply offshoots and different variations of either Lashkar-e-Taiba or the Jaish-e-Mohammed? Because ultimately, yes, as long as Pakistan was in the grey list of the FATF, they had to sort of rein in the workings of these groups. But now, these offshoots or organizations have cropped up with a new name only to circumvent the FATF action and the ambit of the FATF. Ultimately, the Pakistani deep state is still promoting these terror groups to cross over and attack India.
Good evening, Jaka and Jai Hind. First, my condolence to those 5 brave hearts who have lost their life and one who is surviving and fighting it out. Now, your 2 questions. You have asked 2 things. One thing, that Bilawal Bhutto is going to come for the SCO meeting. And second thing, you asked about those tanjeems which has taken a different form and names. First thing, I will touch, which is the larger aspect of the timings and these meetings, basically the SCO meeting and related to Pakistan. What happened? Pakistan is playing the double game, which we have not we have not slightly not trying to understand this. If we are understanding it, we are just pressing it out, to that everything is going to be, we'll able to pass through that, time sets or the meetings which we have planned in these areas. First thing, we have to understand that, when we have chosen a venue of G20 in Jammu and Kashmir,
Yeah.
it is the two people who have got, one is China, we are living in China, and second is Pakistan. It is a direct linkages. If this goes through, incident free, the thing is altogether a different messaging, which have got a strategic, implications, and it has got not only within the region, but all over the world.
Incidentally, both these countries, General Sinha, just a moment, both these countries had opposed to the G20 meeting happening in Srinagar, and the government of India went ahead despite whatever opposition these 2 countries had put up. Anyway, go on, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why this game is being played. I will just take you back, because the SCO you talked about, and this SCO meeting is first, which is going on. If you take your mind back, few days back, we had, we have seen the changing of name of the 15 places in Arunachal Pradesh.
Yeah.
When we had an official meeting of SCO in Arunachal Pradesh, China that day only, they were absentees on these, and they changed the name. So at that time also, when I take my mind and try it out, they did it intentionally, because they wanted to give a message that Arunachal Pradesh, what they claim it to 90,000 square kilometer in that area, which they are doing it in number of fronts.
Okay.
Whether it is border villages. Well, now the China angle is here also. China and Pakistan is not playing this game alone. China is playing along with them in a big way. And that's why your question is very relevant when you are asking about these TRF and PFF. They are not the offshoots. They are the same thing. Whether it is the name can change, we can do it and we can debate here on the TV. But a matter of the fact that when it comes down to the ground, it is the same. Only thing is, it is now being funded. It is now being armed, because today's in this incident, mind you, there is 7.62 bullet, which are the steel core bullets, which has been now recovered from the site. It has happened to the site, Bhimber Gali, 2 kilometers this side. And anyone who knows in this Krishna Ghati area, whether the Surankot area and where it has happened, this is the evidence, and you brought it out, that it has happened from 3 sides. It is absolutely planned, and few days back, when the chief of Pakistan Army visited in the forward area, there was something was raised. And one statement today, which has come by the Ministry of Defense of Pakistan, giving to because related to the election which has to be held in, and they have brought that raw if will do it. How the raw has come in there, and that same announcement is coming. Then Bilawal Bhutto is going to come and attend the SCO,
Okay.
which had a question mark.
Okay.
So,
So,
one second, I will take it. Just put the perspective and your questions. See, we have to understand, Rajaka. It has got a bigger application rather than by just focusing what happened in the incident. That lot of things where the SOPs and the protocols has been, because single vehicle moving without road opening at one particular time, army didn't come to know because there were no reactions on ground. That can be taken care of.
okay. So, Vatsab, I just want to, one question that begs to be asked, and I asked this to one of our reporters as well at the top of the show, particularly after Pulwama, the SOP for movement of trucks, movement of convoys was revised, was enhanced. I believe one of the standard operating procedures was that no truck will travel individually. In this case, we are given to understand that perhaps because it was a short distance, this truck was traveling alone, and the 5 jawans who were traveling in it have been killed, and one other person who's the only other eyewitness, he is now struggling for his life. Do you think that lessons have still not been learned?
Zaka, I tend to agree with you. I'm sorry, I have the SOP is definitely not followed. It may be a short distance, but while traveling in such area, I think the proper SOP should have been followed, particularly after what happened in October 2021 and then attack in Rajouri, both the groups having not been apprehended or neutralized. So seeing the concerted effort from across to disturb Jammu region increasingly after suffering setback in Kashmir Valley, I think we have to be very, very careful, and SOP has to be followed very strictly. I think there is something amiss here. That's why we suffered. Otherwise, there would have been a retaliation had the SOP been followed.
Okay.
I recall 1990 when I was young ASP in Badgam. That time also the first attack, major attack in Badgam district happened on Gulmarg Road, and I still recall that scene when a milk army vehicle who used to ferry milk from Srinagar to Gulmarg was only with 3 people: driver, one LMG man, and another person with one carbine, and all three are killed. And we are still, after so many years, again doing the same thing.
Yeah, so the lessons need to be learned, and particularly after what we saw in Pulwama and like what Mr. Ved referred to about what happened in October 2021. We'll leave it at that for the moment. We'll see how this story progresses. The immediate priority, of course, would be to hunt down those who carried this out. And as Arunima was reporting a short while back, if the attack happened from 3 different parts, then it means it was a big one. Multiple terrorists were involved in this, and so this search operation could take days, if not weeks. Let me now move on to the other big story, which is a Sessions Court in Gujarat dismissed today Rahul Gandhi's plea to put a stay on his conviction in the defamation case. That means that he remains disqualified as a member of parliament. Is he likely to miss the boat for 2024? Because if he's not able to get a stay on his conviction, then it means he cannot contest elections for the next 8 years at least.
Rahul Gandhi remains disqualified as a member of parliament for now. A sessions court in Gujarat, Surat, rejected to put on hold his conviction in a defamation case. Rahul Gandhi had requested that his conviction be paused pending his appeal against a court order sentencing him to 2 years in jail in the defamation case. He had argued that the trial court treated him harshly after being overwhelmingly influenced by his status as an MP.
ये जो गलत कारणों से गलत कानूनी आधार पर 2 निर्णय आए हैं, उनको चुनौती दी जाएगी और हमें आशा और विश्वास है कि जल्द से जल्द ये सही की जाएगी, गलती को ठीक किया जाएगा न्यायिक कानूनी रूप से।
The case is based on a complaint filed by BJP leader Purnesh Modi, based on a speech that Rahul Gandhi gave in Karnataka's Kolar in 2019. The complainant claimed that Rahul Gandhi had defamed all people whose surname is Modi after this remark.
नीरव मोदी, ललित मोदी, नरेंद्र मोदी, इन सबके नाम मोदी 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 कैसे? ये सब चोरों के नाम मोदी 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 मोदी।
The BJP called the court order a slap in the face for the Gandhis.
अब जब सूरत के अपीलिएट कोर्ट का जजमेंट आया है, उसका वर्डिक्ट आया है, पूरे देश में खुशी का माहौल है. This is a, I would say, slap on the face of the arrogance of the Gandhi family.
Rahul Gandhi's conviction and disqualification triggered Congress's rivals like the Aam Aadmi Party, Trinamool Congress and Bharat Rashtra Samiti to openly speak out in his support. After being found guilty, Gandhi was sentenced to 2 years in prison. 2 years is the maximum sentence a lawmaker must face in order to be dismissed from parliament, and also the maximum sentence under the defamation law. The disqualification is for 6 years. If you put that together, that's 8 years that Rahul Gandhi won't be able to contest elections. So is he out of the 2024 race?
All right, I want to first go across to Member of Parliament and one of the chief legal eagles of the Congress Party, Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, is joining us. Dr. Singhvi, first things first, this is what the court said today, the Sessions Court, as it rejected Mr. Rahul Gandhi's appeal. It said, and I quote, you cannot dispute the fact that the appellant was a Member of Parliament, President of the second largest party. Looking at the appellant's stature, he should have been more careful. Any defamatory words are sufficient enough to cause mental agony. Surely, the court is also of the view that Rahul Gandhi, for the position that he occupies, should not have indulged in this kind of defamatory comments. And that's why your appeal has been rejected.
Zaka, that is one of the many clear patent errors and unsustainability of the judgment, which will be shortly challenged in the High Court. Is it a valid reason that irrespective of the balance of convenience, irrespective of the consequences which will flow if you don't stay conviction, you will go on a test that you are a leader of a political party? Is that relevant in any manner? Today, we are not hearing the appeal. Today, what he was hearing was whether a stay of conviction is warranted or not.
Yeah.
Tell me which is a simpler case, a lesser case, where a stay of conviction can be granted. Is it a murder charge he was facing? Was he facing a Prevention of Corruption Act charge? You have granted stay of conviction in several murder cases, including Sidhu's case, which is quoted in page 3 or 4 of that judgment. You have granted stay of conviction in Prevention of Corruption cases, which is quoted in Sareen's case, quoted in that judgment which you are holding in your hand. If you see the first 7 pages of the judgment, they are simply quotations and extracts from 10 Supreme Court judgments, with certain parts underlined, saying why you should not grant a stay of conviction. Unfortunately, the judge fails to realize, the learned judge fails to realize that the underlined portions, in fact, underline the stark contrast of those cases which he's citing and Rahul Gandhi's case. That point is missed altogether. Really speaking, the simplest case ever where it is the mildest form of a case where he should be granted a stay of conviction can be defamation. Point number 2, there are cases cited in those same first 7 pages that say that you must show the consequences and demonstrate the irreparable, irreversible consequences if I don't grant you stay of conviction. He has cited those cases, underline the lines. I want to ask you, what other consequence will you show, Zaka, other than the fact that a duly elected Member of Parliament, while your first appeal is pending, you're not a convict. Ultimately, you're a convict by one court, that to a magistrate's court. Your appeal is pending. Till such time, what is the balance of convenience? Suppose he wins this appeal, which is pending before the same judge. Can you give him back those 10 days or 12 days of the last session which he missed? Can you give him back the whole monsoon session which he may miss? So irreversible prejudice is the test which the judge is quoting himself.
No, but
he's not realizing that there is no other way of showing irreversible prejudice than disqualification.
Can I say?
It is
Can I just quote one second, Dr.
example.
Singhvi? Can I quote what the judge has said in his order today? What the judges have said in their order today? There should be a rare and exceptional case made out, which the defense has failed to do, for a grant of stay. And the portion that you are referring to, the defense failed in demonstrating that by not staying the conviction, irreversible damage has been caused to their client. Now, my question is, what is the irreversible damage? I'm presuming that the judges are saying irreversible damage means a case of life and death. It's not like Rahul Gandhi's life has been thrown into question because the conviction has not been stayed.
Dhaka, you are misunderstanding the test. The test is not life and death. This provision, which the learned judge is interpreting, is created specifically for public life persons who, absent a stay of conviction, will be disqualified from holding that seat.
Yes.
He can seek nothing more than a stay of disqualification, because the consequences are A, you can't attend parliament; B, you lose your seat; C, if time goes on, the election commission is entitled to re-notify election. D, it will thrust upon the people of India the cost of an election. And after 10 days of that, or 3 months of that, if Rahul Gandhi wins his case, if he succeeds in his appeal,
can you demonstrate, Dr. Singhvi, that this is irreversible damage? How is this irreversible damage? That's what the court is asking.
It is irreversible because while his first appeal is pending, for a short while, the simplest way is to expedite the appeal and to give a stay of his disqualification. Why should you have a fresh election there? Why? Suppose you have a fresh election, this term of Rahul Gandhi goes, it's irreversible.
Okay, the court is also saying that the appellant has not made any case to suspend the conviction recorded against him, and the avenues are open to challenge the judgment given by the lower court. The appeal is pending. The court is also citing that. So, again, I come back to that point. You have further legal recourses available to you. Why do you need a stay of conviction?
It's amazing. The stay of conviction is only sought when the appeal is pending. When else is it sought? When else will it be sought? The stay of conviction is sought precisely because the appeal is pending. I may win my appeal tomorrow. Till then, don't disqualify me. I mean, it's turning the whole thing on its head, and just see the third or fourth page of the judgment you are holding. Do you have the judgment in your hand? Does it cite Navjot Sidhu?
Yes. Yes.
Did Navjot Sidhu get a stay of conviction after having been accused of murder? M-U-R-D-E-R. See the first case before that on the second or third page. It's a Sareen's case. See the last paragraph of that, underlined by the learned judge. It is a case of corruption, Prevention of Corruption Act conviction.
Okay.
Now, you may, even in those cases, stay is granted. Why will stay not be granted in defamation case while the main appeal is pending?
All right.
Tomorrow, can you restore the lost portion of last session? Will you restore the next lost portion of the monsoon session? Will you restore the seat in case the election commission announces the election? All are irreversible. Completely irreversible.
Okay.
On the face of it.
We'll leave it at that, Dr. Singhvi. We'll see how this plays out. Of course, Dr. Singhvi has said that they will be moving the High Court to try and grant relief to Rahul Gandhi by way of stay of conviction. Let me open this also up to our panelists who are joining us, and I want to take this into the political realm. Nalin Kohli, spokesperson of the BJP, is joining us, and Advocate Bhimber Singh, spokesperson of the Congress, is joining us. Nalin, we've dealt with the legalese. I want to talk politics. Here you have, and the Congress party, the entire Congress machinery is going into overdrive to portray Rahul Gandhi as a victim of a system that is out to get him, a system that they are calling high-handed, a system that they believe is out to crush all democratic forces, vilify opposition, agencies are unleashed on opposition politicians, so on and so forth. And we're already seeing, that narrative in full flow in the Karnataka elections. Are you not worried politically that if the entire opposition is banding together and setting this narrative, this could hurt your party?
I completely disagree with the political narrative of the Congress party, and as a practicing lawyer, I equally disagree with the legal narrative that they are putting out there. and I'll address both of them together. Why has Mr. Rahul Gandhi faced a conviction? Because he came out with an unsavory remark in 2019 saying, why do people with the surname Modi, why are they all thieves? That is the reason why he has a conviction of 2 years in a defamation case. He apologized before the Supreme Court in 2018. In 2019, he commits the same thing. So if Mr. Rahul Gandhi was a little more careful with his words, had he apologized, which even today he hasn't, he today still stands by his statement by saying, I'm not a Savarkar who will apologize. That means he believes that his statement is correct and good. He says this is a fight for truth. Abusing all people with a Modi surname who are from the OBC community is a fight for truth, is a fight in national interest as the Congress calls it. Now let's understand the legal part, which is also a narrative.
Can I ask one counter question?
It's a political point.
Yeah, Nalin, give me 1 second. Can I ask one counter question? The Congress's argument is also that nowhere in those comments in Kolar, Mr. Gandhi refers to 3 Modis by name: Narendra Modi, Lalit Modi, and Nirav Modi. None of the Modis who he has referred to by name are party to this case. This is a completely unrelated person who he did not name coming and filing the case, and there's a conviction of defamation on that case.
So that two answers to that, and it's not complicated. I'll disagree with that too, both as a lawyer and as a political person. The first is, he says, ye Modi naam wale sare log chor kyun hote hain? That means he extended the scope of that. He didn't say ye teeno Modi chor kyun hote hain, which would have been then restricting it, because he couldn't dare have said it. He would have sued by all 3 of them. So he then went by expanding it by saying ye sare Modi surname wale chor kyun hote hain? Play the bite. And the second part of this is, that is why you have abused the community. And even today he is not apologizing to the community. And what does he want? A reward? A Bharat Ratna for coming up with a statement like this? Now let me come to the political argument, which is equally incorrect, legally and politically. Let's understand why is Mr. Dr. Singhvi is trying to say, Arey, he will tomorrow maybe be let off. This was the whole idea of Dr. Manmohan Singh's ordinance in 2013, when the Lily Thomas case led to the removal of section 8(4), which is what it gave a convicted political person, an MP or an MLA, a 3-month window. The Supreme Court removes it. Dr. Manmohan Singh and the then law minister, Mr. Kapil Sibal, bring an ordinance which Mr. Rahul Gandhi, uninvited to his own party's press conference, barges in, tears it and says it should go in the dustbin. So today, why should the law be different for him? 32 or 33 people have faced the same consequence. So now with Dr. Singhvi or his legal team finds it convenient to say, no, suppose he is reversed. That is what section 8(4) was. That is what the ordinance was supposed to be. So Rahul Gandhi ji, respectfully, is paying the consequences of his intemperate comments and his intemperate action.
Okay, so
and
let me ask Mahima Singh. On the one hand, you are claiming political victimhood. You are saying sympathy factor. But how can anyone have sympathy for someone who, as Nalin says, barges into a press conference, tears up an ordinance that was brought for exactly purposes such as this, that politicians, legislators, parliamentarians are not held guilty for defamation, and thereby the consequence of that, losing membership of the legislature or the parliament, does not befall them. That's why that clause was introduced. So what has cost Mr. Gandhi is his own hubris and his own exuberance. So why are you now trying to play victim?
मैं रोशनी था मुझे फैलते ही जाना था वो बुझ गए जो चिराग समझते रहे मुझे. That is the story of truth, Zaka, and I think my leader Shri Rahul Gandhi embodies that truth. And even when he acted in 2013, the action in question, and even when he is acting today, I think he's acting for the truth that he believes in. He's acting for the righteousness that our constitution stands for. He's acting for all those guarantees that the democracy brings along. What has happened today is just a stage, Zaka. You see, first appeal is a stage in a legal battle. It's not the stage. So the BJP may rejoice, as one of the chief spokespersons, Mr. Patra, has held a press conference this evening and has said that desh mein khushi ka mahal hai, which I don't think we have seen any glimpses of anywhere, because the country today is agonized, not only with the inflation and unemployment at record levels, But also, after Satyapal Malik ji's revelations, the country is today in absolutely, in an absolute shock, because we are hoping for answers. Instead, what's happening today is, we are debating around an issue where Rahul Gandhi ji is in, it's a process, an ongoing process.
Ma'am, can I ask one question? As a lawyer, you are well aware of these defamation cases. Usually, these are quashed at the preliminary stage itself, or if it gets into trial and so on, the person concerned comes in, apologizes. We've seen n number of cases, including in the case of Mr. Gandhi himself, who has in a previous defamation case apologized. Now, my question is, why was that not done in this case? And why is that not being done even now? All it takes to say is that I was referring to specific individuals, not to a larger community. Why is there no expression of regret for words that were, ill-used?
On that, Zaka, I would like to remind you of Ms. Khushbu Sundar's very similar remarks, back in 2019. And let me just say, although Mr. Singhvi has, being the veteran that he is, touched upon most of the, relevant parts of this judgment and the grounds, the very sustainable grounds that we'll be relying upon while we invoke the constitutional powers of the appellate courts, let me just say that, the BJP spokesperson, with due respect, I say, that he just talked about RG's that statement. And he urged you to play it out. Please do play it out, because that will immediately prove my case, because he said, उन्होंने कहा सारे मोदी चोर होते हैं. Sorry, his remark was, इन सारे चोरों का नाम मोदी क्यों है? I think he is referring and indicating towards the political favoritism that we have seen in the past 8 years at behest of our very honorable Prime Minister, who stands there as a leader of all of us, of the entire population. I may not have voted for him, but he still is my Prime Minister.
Okay.
So I believe when Rahul Gandhi ji said that from the very Kolar, where he has couple of days back invoked the government.
No. So I want to be very clear about this. You are saying he did not say सारे मोदी चोर हैं. He simply said ये सारे चोर के नाम.
चोरों मोदी क्यों हैं? और ढूंढने निकलेंगे तो और भी मिल जाएंगे. That's what he said. And that clearly indicates that Prime Minister Modi's government has given undue privilege.
All the more reason why your case in court should have been that you are not trying to defame an entire community which has the surname Modi.
We are not, which is a clear case. You see, Mr. Singhvi has pointed out to the 3 paragraphs in today's verdict, where the judge's contention is, where the judge's point is that the insult is hurled at Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister. And then the complainant should have been the Prime Minister or one of these.
I got to wrap up. I'm completely out of time. It's a truncated debate tonight because of the big story that came in from Poonch. But thank you very much both to Naren Kohli as well as to Mahima Singh. We'll see how this plays out. Like I said, it'll play out in the court of law, which of course is the legal process that was outlined by the lawyers on the panel. And then of course there is the court of public opinion, where in Karnataka you will see the first big political sort of fallout of these comments and this entire saga surrounding Rahul Gandhi. Talking about Karnataka, we'll round off with a story from the poll-bound state where the BJP has found a link between the slain gangster Atik Ahmad to one of the Congress Party's star campaigners, Imran Pratap Gali. But will it find resonance among the voters of Karnataka? Thank you for tuning in.
The chilling murder of gangster Atik Ahmad and his brother Ashraf in Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj have managed to become a talking point in poll-bound Karnataka. It happened after the Congress included Rajya Sabha MP Imran Pratap Ghari's name in its list of star campaigners for the upcoming elections. Union Minister Shobha Karandlaje claimed a connection between Imran Pratap Ghari and Atik Ahmad.
ಇಮ್ರಾನ್ ಪ್ರತಾಪ್ ಗಡಿಯ ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಆತಿಕ್ ಅಹಮದ್ ನನ್ನ ಗುರು, ಆತಿಕ್ ಅಹಮದ್ ನನ್ನ ಬ್ರದರು, ನನ್ನ ಬಾಯಿ. ಆತಿಕ್ ಅಹಮದ್ಗೆ ಶಹರಿ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ರು.
BJP leader Amit Malviya tweeted an undated video of Imran Pratap Ghari in which he's seen praising Atik Ahmad. The Congress defended naming Imran Pratap Gali as a star campaigner for the party.
Imran Pratap Gali is the chairman of our minority cell, and he will be coming. What is wrong in that? We are not saying that someone who is coming, who is under that, who had committed some crime, who is behind the bars. We are not doing that.
Imran Pratap Gali, a poet turned politician, lost the 2019 Lok Sabha elections on a Congress ticket from Uttar Pradesh's Moradabad. He had participated in the anti-CAA NRC protests at Delhi Shaheen Bagh in 2020. In 2021, he was chosen to lead the AICC's minority department. And last year, he was nominated to the Rajya Sabha from Maharashtra. Whether he will be a crowd puller in Karnataka is in itself a question mark. So will his link to Atik Ahmad find any resonance in Karnataka?
An author is also joining us. Prabhu, first things first, आपका स्थिति अभी कैसा है? आपका जो डेली नीड्स हैं, आप वो कैसे मैनेज कर रहे हैं? कहाँ पे फंसे हैं और आप कितने लोग हैं जो फंसे हैं सूडान में?
खाने के लिए तो हम लोग जो इस घर में आए थे, रेंट ले लिया था, तो जब भी हमारे पास ना दुकान खुली हुई थी तो रोज लाके खाना बना के खाते थे, दुकान सामने ही थी। तो हम स्टार्ट नहीं किया था, हमने रोज लाने का, खाना पका के खाने का, ये काम करते थे हम लोग
जी।
तो हमें कोई मैसेज नहीं मिली है ऐसा कुछ यहाँ फायर होने वाला है, तो हम कोई मैसेज नहीं मिली हम स्टार्ट करने के लिए। तो एक साथ ही ऐसा फायर होने लगा तो हम इमरजेंसी पूरा डोर लॉक करना पड़ा, तो हम अंदर ही लॉक होना पड़ा। तो बाहर का सिचुएशन मालूम होने के लिए हमको 4 से 5 दिन लग गया
जी।
तो हमारे पास ना जो भी बचे हुए थे, जो अनाज, उसको ही खाए, पानी पिए। 4 दिन तक हमने खाना तो नहीं खाया था, हमने जो पानी था टोटी में पानी था कुआं में, वो पानी ही पिया सब लोग ने। और बाद में पानी खत्म हो जाने के बाद बहुत परेशानी हुई हमको।
प्रभु ये बताइए कि सरकार की तरफ से कोई कम्युनिकेशन है आया है आपके पास? किसी ने रीच आउट किया है? किसी ने ये कहा है कि आपको वहां से इवैक्यूएट करेंगे? और अगर ऐसा मैसेज आएगा तो क्या आप वहां से निकलना चाहेंगे या आप वहीं रहना चाहेंगे जब तक ये वॉर खत्म ना हो जाए?
अभी तो ये चूज करने के लिए हमारे पास तो कोई आइडियोलॉजी नहीं है, क्योंकि हमको मदद मिली नहीं है, यहाँ पे किसी से भी मदद नहीं मिली है। अभी इसको चूज करने का हमारे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, यहाँ रहेंगे या इंडिया जाएंगे। हमारे को कोई समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, क्योंकि हम बाहर जा नहीं सकते, फायरिंग हुआ है। सरकार की तरफ से हमारे को मदद मिल जाएगी, इंडिया बुलाया जाएगा तो हम आने के लिए तैयार है।
आप कितने लोग हो प्रभु? आप कितने लोग हो और कहाँ, मतलब सूडान में अलग अलग जगहों पे फंसे हैं या एक ही जगह फंसे हैं? कितने लोग हैं आप?
स्टेट है कर्नाटक, तो वहां से मेरी समझ में, मेरे को जितना मालूम है 700-800 लोग फंसे हुए हैं सूडान में, पूरे सूडान में 700-800 हजार लोग के आर पार फंसे हुए हैं।
Okay, all right. Prabhu, बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद. He is saying 700 to 800, but officially the number that we know, at least from the state of Karnataka, is 31. But let me open this up to both Aishwarya Mahadev and to Ratan Sharda. Aishwarya Mahadev, the contention that's being made by Dr. Jaishankar, the MEA folks, and of course people like Tejashwi Surya is this government has rescued stranded Indians from Yemen, from Libya, from Ukraine. So then why are you politicizing this just because there is an election? Let the government and its agencies do their job in evacuating these Indian citizens from Sudan. How do you respond to that?
Good evening, Zaka. I think first and foremost, these Indians there, or the Kannadigas also that we've highlighted, have been there for the past 4 or 5 days without food and water. It was yesterday when the former Chief Minister, Mr. Siddaramaiah, tweeted and saying these are vulnerable communities that have traveled there and they are stuck kindly help them, that was when the focus and the attention shifted towards it. That was when the Ministry of External Affairs and, of course, Mr. Jaishankar, with his appalling sort of response, came out to tell us that these things were happening. But please tell me, how much media attention was on this situation before that? One. Second, how many people had established contact to reassure these people stranded there? Two. And third, is it really wrong for a former head of a state to ask the central government for help and assistance for his people who are stranded abroad? There is no politicization. My former CM did not say a war was completely stopped, as a former of a BJP president did, saying a complete war was stopped to bring back people. This is not politicization. It is appalling that a man, when asked to do his job, turns around and tells a former chief minister of a state that this is appalling, you are politicizing this issue. There is no politicization.
So let me ask Ratan Sharda, the job of any politician, whether it's chief minister or former chief minister or a minister, whatever it is, the job of any politician is to respond to his or her constituents. Constituents reach out, and then the job of the politician is to try and extend help or get the government to extend help. So the Congress is claiming that that's all Siddaramaiah did. There was no need for that rather terse response from the External Affairs Minister saying that this is appalling and you're playing politics. He's, after all, responding to his constituents.
Zaka, a politician is not just responsible for his small constituency, he is also responsible for the nation. You are a chief minister of a state and you know that around 3,000 people are stuck in Sudan. You talk of only 31 people? How parochial can you get? How parochial and how narrow-minded can you be? You are a Congress and All India party is now trying to narrow itself down to a regional party and behaving like a DMK. Karnataka is the most cosmopolitan state, and people have, and the state has been welcoming all. When you talk of only 31 people or 3,000, and then you make a public tweet giving the location of the person, is that right? Government has done, every government in the past, this government in its own term has done wonderful evacuation, whether Operation Sankat Mochan, Operation Ganga, Operation Rahat, where even foreigners have been rescued. Do you think lack of media attention means lack of government attention? So trying to say that because of that tweet, suddenly government woke up, I think I'm not understood. They have got thousands and thousands of people, a record number of people evacuated. When you talk of only one kind of caste, one kind of people, it is nothing but pure parochial politics.
All right. Aishwarya Mahadev, why reduce it just to parochial identities just because there is an election coming up? Had that election not been there, would Siddaramaiah have publicly tweeted about this?
Did Congress speak about this when the earlier operations took place? No, they welcomed the government.
Okay. Let Aishwarya respond, yeah.
We don't need any lessons on any evacuation programs, because from the Gulf War, post that also, the UP has done its responsibility. When you talk about a parochial mindset, sir, I will not even engage in that, because if Mr. Siddaramaiah had not spoken about these 31 Kannadigas who are part of his state, who are his people, would you have even known about the plight of the thousands of others? You would not. Would you have even made that contact with them? You would have not. And this is not the first time. Twitter has been an asset for people in order of communication from the time of Ms. Sushma Swaraj onwards. A lot of these responses and these sort of requests have come up, and the government, when it's convenient for them, they say we did this, and the power of social media. Okay. But when an opposition leader raises the voice for his people, it becomes parochial.
All right.
And so let me remind you, during COVID, what happened? It was each to their own. It was every state for themselves. It was migrants from UP, Bihar, migrants from here, there, whatever, while the central government stayed blank. While Karnataka also offered shelter, Karnataka looked after its own. I do not believe at any point you talk about this larger idea of a parochial mindset, but tell me, would you have voluntarily have offered up the
Ratan
fact that something
Sharda, final word. I got to wrap up after that.
The people of what is happening?
Yeah, let him respond.
Absolutely not.
Final word, Ratan Sharda. I got to wrap up after that, Aishwarya. Thank you. Please yield. Yeah, thank you.
The first tweet of Siddaramaiah, no Congress leader has spoken of all the 3,000 people. And again, to believe that, because I said every party has done its bit for evacuation, and do you think that government is sleeping till you make a tweet? This is how the government works? Sorry. Government eyes and ears are always open. They have evacuated people as and when, with complete courage, complete commitment. And you keep on speaking for last press only of 31 Kannadigas. That is the problem. 3,000 include Kannadiga. Now, for example, CNN didn't say which state this particular person was on the panel. They said Indian. So what's the harm in that? So that is why I say problem is your over propagandization of every issue, and that is what is going to hurt you, not the government or India.
All right. Okay. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. I want to first go across to Prabhu, who is an Indian national who's stranded in Sudan. I'll also be joined in a moment by Aishwarya Mahadev of the Congress. Ratan Sharda, RSS researcher and author, is also joining us. Prabhu, first things first, आपका जो आपका स्थिति अभी कैसा है, आपका जो डेली नीड्स हैं आप वो कैसे मैनेज कर रहे हैं, कहाँ पे फंसे हैं और आप कितने लोग हैं जो फंसे हैं सूडान में?
खाने के लिए तो हम लोग जो इस घर में आए थे, रेंट ले लिया था, तो जब भी हमारे पास ना दुकान खुली हुई थी तो रोज लाके खाना बना के खाते थे, दुकान सामने ही थी। तो हम स्टार्ट नहीं किया था हमने रोज लाने का, खाना पका के खाने का, ये काम करते थे हम लोग।
जी।
तो हमें कोई मैसेज नहीं मिली है ऐसा कुछ यहाँ फायर होने वाला है, तो हम कोई मैसेज नहीं मिली हम स्टार्ट करने के लिए। तो एक साथ ही ऐसा फायर होने लगा, तो हम इमरजेंसी पूरा डोर लॉक करना पड़ा, तो हम अंदर ही लॉक होना पड़ा। तो बाहर का सिचुएशन मालूम होने के लिए हमको 4 से 5 दिन लग गया।
जी।
तो हमारे पास ना जो भी बचे हुए थे, जो अनाज उसको ही खाए, पानी पिए। 4 दिन तक हमने खाना तो नहीं खाया था। हमने जो पानी था टोटी में पानी था कुआं में, वो
हाँ।
पानी ही पिया सब लोग ने। और बाद में पानी खत्म हो जाने के बाद बहुत परेशानी हुई हमको।
प्रभु ये बताइए
और
कि
परसों
सरकार की
एक
तरफ
10
से कोई कम्युनिकेशन है आया है आपके पास, किसी ने रीच आउट किया है, किसी ने ये कहा है कि आपको वहाँ से इवैक्यूएट करेंगे, और अगर ऐसा मैसेज आएगा तो क्या आप वहाँ से निकलना चाहेंगे या आप वहीं रहना चाहेंगे जब तक ये वॉर खत्म ना हो जाए?
अभी तो ये चूज करने के लिए हमारे पास तो कोई
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. A major event is on in New Delhi. Prime Minister Modi attended today. The Dalai Lama will attend tomorrow. Needless to say, China is watching. We're talking about the Global Buddhist Summit and India's Buddhist diplomacy. Delegates from scores of countries are attending, and this has religious, diplomatic, and political dimensions. We'll discuss all of it. Also, a killer heat wave is sweeping through Asia. It's especially bad in India, hurting lives and livelihoods. This is not a weather story. It affects you directly. In the UK, people don't want to fund the king's coronation and the government won't tell them how much it will cost. In Taiwan, the government wants people to learn English to boost the economy. In Latin America, there's a new challenge for the US. After years of coups and control, they face tough questions. All that and more is coming up. The headlines first. Explosions and gunfire rock Sudan's capital Khartoum as the second attempt at a ceasefire fails. Nearly 300 people have been killed in 6 days in the fighting between rival factions. After India overtakes China's population, Beijing downplays the numbers, saying quality is as important as quantity. Setback for Indian opposition leader Rahul Gandhi. A Gujarat court rejects his plea in the 2019 defamation case over Prime Minister Modi's surname. Gandhi had requested the court to stay his conviction. Today's ruling means the Congress leader cannot be reinstated as a member of Indian Parliament. Michael Schumacher's family is planning legal action against a German magazine. The magazine conducted an AI-generated interview with him. The former Formula One champion has not been seen in public since his ski accident in 2013. And K-pop star Moonbin found dead at his home. The 25-year-old member of the boy band Astro is suspected to have died by suicide. Faith and diplomacy. You can't think of two things more further apart. One is rooted in culture and belief. The other is all about logic and hard calculations. Yet they have always intersected. India has been trying to perfect this powerful cocktail. How? By using its ancient ties with Buddhism. New Delhi is currently hosting a very important event, the Global Buddhist Summit. And the attendance is impressive. 30 foreign ambassadors, 171 foreign delegates, and 150 Indian Buddhist organizations. The idea is not just to showcase the values of Buddhism, because those are already common knowledge. The idea is to marry those values with present challenges, whether it's war and aggression, or sustainable growth, or technological progress. Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered an address on the first day of the summit. He said that Buddha's teachings offer solutions to world problems. Listen to this.
आधुनिक विश्व की ऐसी कोई समस्या नहीं है जिसका समाधान सैकड़ों वर्ष पहले बुद्ध के उपदेशों में हमें प्राप्त न हुआ हो। आज दुनिया जिस युद्ध और अशांति से पीड़ित है, बुद्ध ने सदियों पहले इसका समाधान दिया था।
Now, this is a Buddhist gathering, so the obvious question is, where is the world's top Buddhist leader, the Dalai Lama? He's expected to attend day 2 of the summit. That's tomorrow. And rest assured, China will blow a fuse. In 2011, the Dalai Lama had addressed a similar gathering in New Delhi, and Beijing was furious. They cancelled border talks with India soon after. So expect a similar tantrum tomorrow. The Chinese are like the Grinch during Christmas. A, they won't attend the summit themselves. And B, they won't let the Dalai Lama attend it either. Not a single Chinese monk has come to New Delhi. You see, there are two battles playing out here. One is over the Dalai Lama and Tibet, and the second is over the larger Buddhist world. Who gets to lead and shape that world, India or China? That is the contest. Now, first, let me tell you why this battle is important. Buddhism is the 4th largest religion in the world. Around 500 million people practice it. Countries like Cambodia, Thailand, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, and Laos are Buddhist majority. Others like South Korea and Malaysia have a sizable Buddhist population. Now notice where these countries are located. Southeast and Eastern Asia, the same region that China wants to dominate. It tells you why a communist, atheist regime like China suddenly loves Buddhism. The problem is, China's Buddhism is political. It's about narrative, not faith. It's linked to controlling and dominating the Tibetan population. Hence the problem with the Dalai Lama, and by extension, the problem with India. For Beijing, Buddhism is the means to an end, and that end is appointing its own successor to the Dalai Lama. What about India? For New Delhi, the Dalai Lama isn't just a religious leader, he's also a strategic leverage. In 2011, the Dalai Lama was invited to speak despite protests from China. Same in 2023, the Dalai Lama has been invited despite the expected blowback. India, and that's one part of India's calculations, but the second one is equally important. Yes, the Buddha was born in modern-day Nepal, but he lived most of his life in India. His first sermon was in India. His enlightenment, even his final days. And that's something New Delhi can capitalize on. Basically, brand itself as the cradle and home of Buddhism. How do you do that? By boosting religious tourism, exchanging scholars and students, investing in Buddhist organizations abroad. In a nutshell, do what China can't do. Generate goodwill. The government is already working in this direction. In 2016, the Buddhist Circuit project was announced. It follows the path of the Buddha. Starts off in Lumbini, heads to Bodh Gaya and Bihar, then Sarnath, Kushinagar and so on. 21 states are covered in this circuit. It already has 4 international airports and 2 domestic ones. The next step, of course, is to market it, to make it known to the Buddhist world, to get millions of Buddhists to visit India, because nothing influences policies like people. Every day we bring you news of conflicts, economic, military and political. Why do they matter? Because they impact our lives. Also because they appear more dramatic and more urgent. Would you put a heat wave in the same category? Because we have. A deadly heat wave is silently killing lives and livelihoods and impacting more people than we care to acknowledge. The numbers are scary. Almost half of India's workers work outdoors. They are at risk. The loss in GDP is monumental. Even Nepal and China are reporting temperatures above 40 degrees. People are dying. This is not a weather story anymore. It is hurting your health. It is hurting your body and the economy of your country. If you're watching us from Asia, you already know what I'm talking about. Look at this map. From India to Bangladesh, Thailand, even eastern China, they're all red. In most of these cases, temperatures are shooting above 40 degrees. Records are being broken, and India is among the worst affected. Over 90% of India is experiencing a severe heat wave. And we are only in the month of April. The worst may be yet to come. But already people are dying because of the heat. Many cities are reporting record temperatures. This week, India's meteorological department issued a heat wave alert. Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, Bihar, Jharkhand, Sikkim, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, these states saw extreme heat. Prayagraj recorded the maximum temperature. Prayagraj is in India's Uttar Pradesh. It's the country's largest state. Earlier this week, it was reporting temperatures above 44 degrees Celsius. In some cities, schools have been closed. On Sunday, 11 people died in Maharashtra and scores needed medical help. Do you know what happened there? There was a government event. It was held outdoors. The attendees were sitting under the scorching sun, and this led to dehydration, even death. It is so hot that staying outside may put your life at risk. But many Indians don't have a choice. Look at this statistic. Around 49% of Indian workers work outdoors. That translates to over 230 million workers. 23 crore people in India work outdoors. They have no choice but to suffer the scorching